All right. Well, welcome to Introduction to Your Financial Journey. My name's Alita Hoover, and I'm a financial wellness consultant with BB&T, now Truist. My partner in crime also on the call with me is Candace Burrell. She is a branch leader in the Stevens City and Strasburg area. And I do a lot of sessions, so if my throat gets dry, she'll jump in. I'll ask her to take a screen. We work really well together. But Chris, thank you so much for having us. We love teaching this. This is something that Candace and I are super passionate about, is bringing information, to the students of the local universities and colleges. So we do appreciate that. And this is being recorded, and it will be also emailed out with the PowerPoint in case anything is missed, and available for other students. So with that said, so we get you all to yourselves, Jennifer, so I'm gonna pick on you for a minute. If you could go anywhere COVID didn't exist, where would you go to get away from life right now?
Like anywhere?
Anywhere. Sky's the limit. Money's no object.
London.
Oh, cool. Cool. Just a bucket list item, or have you visited before?
I've never been there, so
Okay.
yeah.
Alita, we have Jessica and Lasagna as well.
Okay, yay. Anyone else want to chime in on where they would go on vacation? I know where I would go. I wouldn't be far from Miss Jennifer. I'd be over in Ireland and Scotland. So that is top of my list.
I'd say Hawaii.
Oh, she wants it warm. Okay.
I'm with her.
Yeah. It's funny because most of the places I want to go are not super warm. So they're rainy or they're snowy. So, well, please know that this is a very informal class. If you need me to slow down, please put it in the chat or just take yourself off of mute and ask me any question. Candace and I are super laid back. Our goal is really just for you to take away a few nuggets of information. This is a high overview session, but we can always do follow-ups if you want additional information more detailed. So if there's something specific you really want to get out of this class or you were hoping to learn, please put it in the chat and we'll make sure we cover it as best to our ability. But we're going to go over what makes up your financial picture, keys to successful financial life, some tools and additional resources, and of course we'll have a question and answer session. But as I said, you're welcome to chime in anytime. So I don't mind, with a small crowd like this, you don't have to keep yourself on mute, but it's totally up to you. So do you need a banker? Without a doubt you do. You might be a totally electronic person and have direct deposit and automatic withdrawals. And once you've opened your account, and heck, you may not have even walked into an institution to open your account. Maybe you did it online, but you still need to have a relationship with a Candace of this world, someone who is going to help you walk that journey and understand what your goals, like maybe you want to go to London, maybe you want to go to Hawaii, and that's a goal. And those are great goals because vacation is much needed. You have to be able to recharge you so you can be a better student, employee, parent, sibling, whatever makes up you as a person. Long-term goals, short-term goals, they're all very important. But that partner should help you build your financial plan and check on you periodically to see if that plan is still, getting you to on your path and getting you to where you want to be. Or maybe, like a lot of college students get 2 years under their belt or a year under their belt, and they're like, you know what, I really don't want to do that major, and they switch. So your plan has changed. That happens in your financial life as well. Your partner should help you take action, and the two of you should be able to, walk that plan and determine what that best course of action is. Maybe it's starting a savings, or maybe it's reorganizing debt so you pay less in a monthly payment so you have more what we call liquid cash on hand. The simple way to remember it is that you need a partner, you need a plan, you need an action, and all that will equal financial wellness. So really what makes up a financial picture is your day-to-day checking and savings, your credit and your loans, And when I mean loans, it's anything from school to credit card to a college, your education to a home. It could be any type of loan. Your retirement and your savings. That could be a 401k. It could be a lot of things. It could be right now, it could be a piggy bank in your bedroom or a coffee jar in the backyard. But then we also have insurance. Insurance protects all that is you hold near and dear to you. And then all life's major changes. And we will go over these individually, but this is the high overview. With regards to your checking and savings, you know, how do you ladies utilize your checking and savings account? You know, what do you do with it? How do you use it on a daily or weekly basis?
And you may be double muted. If you're speaking now, we can't hear you.
Okay. Well, we have some quiet ones in the crowd. So Candace, how do you use your account?
Well, I pay bills. I mainly use a credit card for my purchases. So,
Okay.
and really I use a credit card to pay a lot of my bills, but there's some things that I have to pay out of my checking account.
Okay. And that's typically it's an ebb and flow. So money comes in, you get paid, money goes out for bills, and hopefully there's some left over at the end, right? But everybody's a little different. Yeah, everybody's a little different. You know, some people might use online banking. Some people might use actual paper checks, a debit card, like you said, a credit card. But how do you keep track? How do you keep track and know what's in your account? Because as a consumer, it is your responsibility to know what's in your account at all times. It's nice for me to call Candace and say, yo, Candace, what's my balance? I can't get to a computer right now to see my online. Well, she's going to tell me what my posted balance is, but I need to know that maybe there's still a $400 check outstanding or there's a bill pay outstanding. That's where the register comes in handy. And although some people do not use paper registers anymore, there are still some that do. I prefer an electronic because my cell phone is everywhere I want to be. It's attached to me. It's an appendage. And so there are multiple checkbook registers out there as an app that you can download, and they're very simple to use. Very simple. At the gas pump, you just type in sheets and you put $35 and it does the math for you. And then you can marry it up to your online and check it off that it's cleared. You can also set up alerts. I love this. I get an alert every day, parent of 2 college-age kids, and I get an alert on their accounts because it's my money and I also need to know what they're doing with it and how much they have left and if they have enough to get gas and those kind of things. And you can set them up in a number of ways. You can set them up to get a direct, when you get a direct deposit, alert me that my deposit is there. With regards to savings, yes, you need a savings. There is never a, can I afford a savings? Can I, nobody can not afford the savings. Whether you start with $2 a paycheck, $5 a paycheck, maybe you do a percentage. You get birthday money or Christmas money or a bonus or a tax refund, do a percentage into your savings. And the reason why is because there's multiple rainy day. When that rainy day happens, because it's going to rain at some point and you need some extra money. Emergencies, you have a tire blowout on your car or could be a medical emergency or COVID. We're living through an emergency right now where a lot of people have had to utilize their savings to get through because of the changes in their income at their house. Maybe you have a special purchase, like I said, those trips, right? Maybe I know that in 3 years I'm going to Ireland and Scotland, so I have 3 years to save up X amount of money that I've determined I need, and I can start setting that aside. But what about retirement, the most important savings of all? That is huge. Show of hands or a yes in the chat, who thinks they can totally retire on Social Security alone? I take no answer is, oh yeah, no, you can't. And does anyone know the percentage of what Social Security is supposed to make up for your retirement? When it was enacted, 40%. So if you make $10 an hour at a local restaurant and you retire, it's like making $4 an hour. And I don't know anyone that can, even in retirement, if all your bills were paid off, could anyone afford that? So you planning for retirement is like, you need to plan for your full income, and then Social Security is icing on the cake because it's going to be there. Too many things in DC have to change for us not to have Social Security. But what about this lovely thing here at the bottom? I put it at the bottom because nobody likes to talk about it. Overdraft protection. You haven't lived life unless you've bounced a check. Unfortunately, Chris, I'm going to say this, failed a class, and had your heart broken. It's going to happen at some point, whether you're really, really busy and you make a mistake in your register and you think you have more money than you do, which I've done. I added my mortgage back in instead of subtracting it out. And I thought I had all this extra money and I paid more on other bills. And thankfully I had overdraft protection. And it comes from several different sources. It can come from your own savings. It can come from a line of credit that you apply for, or it can come from a cash advance off of a credit card. How overdraft works really quickly is that you have a checking and a savings. And as you pay, as you can see on the left, there's several items that come through your account that evening. You're now overdrawn by $330, but there is a transfer fee, at least at BB&T there is. So when we have to come in and cover it for you and we move it out of your savings, we're going to take the $330 plus the $1,250, and we're going to move $342.50, and your new balance is $0. But I rather pay $1,250 because I've made a boo-boo than the $36 per item that comes through. So it can snowball and it can be very dangerous. And that's why another reason why you really, really need to have overdraft protection. Regardless of your income, regardless of your situation, I just think everyone has the ability to be human, make a mistake. With regards to credit and loans, give me some reasons why you need to build a good credit score. I'm going to pick on you for a minute, Chris. Why do you need a good credit score? Yep, Lasagna says you need it to buy a house or a car. That is right.
I was just about to say a house.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You also need it when you want to possibly turn on the utilities for that house, or when you go to get your own car insurance. Sometimes even employers pull your credit. So it can be pulled and checked for a lot of reasons. The cell phone and utilities help you with a better credit score get a lower deposit that you might have to place to turn those services on. With the car, it's obviously a rate for your loan. With the insurance providers feel that when you have a better credit score, you're less stressed because you're not worrying about bills and you're a safer driver. And they actually pull your credit every year that you have a policy with them. And with employers, it's all risk-based. So for instance, here at the bank, we are bonded officers of the bank. They do pull our credit when we get hired because they don't want us to be tempted, depending on your position. I haven't played with money in 5 years. I don't even get to go anywhere near it. So, it would never be a tempter for me. It wouldn't be a tempter ahead of time. But when people are working with that, it can be very tempting. So anyone know the names of the agencies? Yep, Experian is one of them. Thank you. We also have Equifax and TransUnion. And these are the people that actually create your report, but not to be confused with places that you can pull your credit from, like NerdWallet, Credit Karma. I believe anyone that has a Discover card, they automatically put your FICO score on your bill every month. Places like that, they can give you a what we call a soft or Vantage credit score, but these three agencies actually are the ones that compile all your information that is sent them and actually make up the report. And it's really important to monitor your credit. And there's multiple ways to do that. Like I said, the Credit Karma, you get a score, but you don't really, you can't get in-depth information. There's a company called LifeLock out there. That's an a la carte. You literally can give them your entire financial world, and they're going to call you or email you or text you every day and say, hey, check number 442 for $35 is trying to come through. Do you know what that is? Two, where they just send you an update on anything that changes your credit score for good or bad. Online banking is a great way to monitor your credit. But I think the best way, and what the financial advisors really suggest, is going straight to the annualcreditreport.com website or calling them on their toll-free number to receive your free annual report every year on all 3 agencies. And the nice thing about their website is if there's a discrepancy or information that is incorrect or misrepresented, you can actually click and dispute it right then or click and correct it right then. So it's a very easy process. I wanted to go back to this right here in the center. As you see the way the credit ranges, as lenders, Candace and I typically would see like what would you say, Candace, like 675, 680, up into just over 800 is the typical norm.
I would say yes.
Yeah. And it does take you a while to get there if you're new to credit. You kind of got to be an infant, get a credit file, then you're a toddler for a little bit, and then you walk up to this plateau where you're like Candace and I, we've been in the credit world for a while. We've got our houses and our cars and our credit cards, and now we're trying to maintain, and it's a delicate balance, as we'll see in the next slide. So there are several areas that make up a credit score. Does anyone have any idea what those might be? Payment history, amounts owed, which is also called credit utilization, length of history, types of credit, and new credit inquiries. Each one of these are weighted a little different that complete your score. And this is what your entire pie chart looks like. And as you can see, the payment history is most important. So if the nugget here to take away, like when a teacher says, you might want to write this down, it could be on the exam, paying your bills on time and per the agreed amount. So for a credit card, that would be at least the minimum, although I always believe in paying more. For your car loan, it's going to be the minimum payment for the X amount of years that you took it. When you get out of school, if you're taking school loans 6 months after graduation, they're going to activate those loans and you're going to have a minimum payment for each one of those if you don't consolidate them. So that's what we call your character, how you pay the debt that you promise to pay. The amount owed, or credit utilization, is the total amount of credit divided by the amount you owe. So if you have $10,000 in available credit on credit cards to you, and you currently have $3,000 outstanding balance, you're at 30%. You really don't want to go above 30% because then you look debt heavy. We understand that some people use like Candace pays a lot of her bills online with her, her credit card. She's doing that to max out the cash rewards. I know what she's doing.
Oh, yeah.
She's getting benefits there, but then she pays it off every month. So she's not touching her checking account all month long. She pays with the credit card, and then she swoops in when the payment is due. So she's not paying any interest, and she's maximizing her benefits. With regards to the history, that is truly just the average time of it's the average length of time of your credit lines. The types of credit, this is a mix. Whether you have an open or revolving credit, like a credit card, because that money is always reusable as you pay it down, or you have a closed-in loan, like a car loan, or what your student loans will amount to at the end when they get opened up for payment. And then new credit inquiries. This is how often they pull your credit to be able to get you a new credit line, which you don't want to allow a lot of people to do that. You want to hold tight. Hold it like it's a delicate egg. This is your credit, and you want to protect it and only allow the people that need to pull it to pull it. It's a delicate dance, and sometimes we don't get the steps right. I mean, even Candace and I, we might have an oops once in a while. Continuing with the credit loans, as I said, there are different types. You have closed in, like a house and your car. Maybe you used your savings account as because you want to use your liquid cash. You wanted to, because you're making more on it in savings than you would pay in the loan. Not currently, I will tell you that in savings amounts. But you can also have lines of credit. You can have a line of credit tied to your home if you have equity. Your overdraft, as I said on that first page, could be a line of credit to protect your account. Credit cards are considered a line or revolving. Then you have unsecured. The set amount of these can take, you can take it in pieces or in a whole. It is a variable rate when it is considered open or revolving, and it can be secured or unsecured. But the closed-end loan is a set amount for a set term, 5 years, 30 years, 10 years. It's a fixed rate, meaning the rate will never change on it. So if you get a home loan for 30 years at 3.75, that's the interest rate for the entire time. And it is usually collateralized, but sometimes you can find them unsecured as well. But again, moral of the story is pay those bills on time. So this is an oldie but a goodie, and I know that Candace laughs every time I bring it up because I'm never going to get rid of this slide. The easiest way to think of a loan is the three-legged stool. Where you place your bottom is the loan itself. It's your house, it's your car, it could be the credit card. That is the actual loan, and we've got to have good, strong legs to support it. And what the bank looks at is your debt to income. So it's D to I, it's debt to income, which is it within guidelines? Because each loan has different guidelines, right, Candace?
Yes, absolutely.
So your house, you might be able to be 43% debt to income, but your car, you can only be 40% debt to income. And you never want to totally max that out. You always want to have a little wiggle room in case you have an emergency. The collateral is it worth what you want to pay for it or what someone's asking you to pay for it? You hear all the time about houses and the housing market and bubbles and cars. And I will tell you, very rare, sorry for this, Chris, but very rare do we have a woman walk in and say, I want to buy this car. And we look it up and the gentleman is trying to overpay by $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $8,000, $10,000. Very rare do we have a woman doing that. It's usually gentlemen. My son was one of them. But if you look, that last leg, it's your credit score, because that's how we judge how you pay your bills. So that's got to be one of the legs. On a stool, you can have one leg that's a little wobbly and it's still going to hold strong. But that means the other two have to be really strong and they have to be able to support that loan. If you have two legs that are wobbly, that may topple over, so loans are all risk-based and we have to take that into account when we're doing them. We don't ever want to tell a person no, but sometimes we have to say no because it's just not the right time. Like we might say it's no for now, but let's fix A, B, and C and revisit this in 6 months. We're humans. We're Americans. We have an instant gratification. No one wants to be told no. I really don't like being told no. But sometimes the credit education that we have to give people within loans is the most important piece. Don't you agree, Candace?
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I assist clients from, not having any credit established and just coming straight into the bank and saying, how can you help me, to clients who need to rehabilitate their credit, who have had some bumps in the road. And it's all about educating. If a client can come in and leave with more information than what they came in to see me with, I know I've done my part. So it is more than just, getting that loan. It's really understanding the criteria and how to achieve it.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about retirement and savings. Does anyone here not want to retire? Do you want to work? I mean, it's okay my dad has retired multiple times. And some people just have that mentality they got to work. I don't know if it's because they get under their spouse's, thumb, under their feet. They're a little annoying in that retirement because they don't have a hobby because they're used to working. But I can tell you, I want to retire. And, when do you start your retirement savings? Well, the moment you can, as soon as possible. It is never too late. I wish I knew what I know now. I wish I knew, 20, 30 years ago, because I'd be retiring young. I would have saved every penny. But it's never too late. I have seen people where their job has never, they're in a factory, they're in a labor producing job, and they didn't have retirement until a couple of companies later buy it out, and it's a much bigger organization. And now, like, well, I don't need to put into that because it's too late. It's never too late, because every penny you can save is going to help you in emergencies or in retirement. There are different types of retirement. You have a basic savings account. Like I said, that coffee can in the backyard. You have your account at the bank. Some institutions or workplaces still have pensions, and those are usually fully funded, so they are protected. You have 401ks. Those are the most popular type of retirement. Someone like Chris, who works for higher ed, he's going to have like a 403b. Those are typically school teachers, college professors, anyone that works for the school system itself. You have an IRA, and that comes in two forms. It's a Roth or a traditional, and that just has something to do with the taxes. And when do you pay taxes on that money? And I never play a CPA on TV, on WebEx, or in life. So if we have more questions about IRAs, Candace and I can answer some very generic questions. But in the end, it really goes back down to your CPA and what they suggest. You have annuities and stocks, which I am not licensed in, but the overall general information on those is annuities is like you're investing into like a life insurance company for 7 years, 10 years, and they're going to guarantee you a certain return. But there's going to be stipulations on when and if you can take that money. So it's really kind of locked in a box. And of course, stocks, as you all hear, the Dow's up, the Dow's down, Wall Street's this, Wall Street's that. There are some that are more volatile than others. There's some that, go out there and try to buy some of those really big ones like Apple and some of those other stocks that are costing a lot of money. But there's money to be had, but you have to know what kind of comfortability you are, and you have to have a good partner that's going to help you navigate that world. What do you look into for retirement savings? What matters? Well, first and foremost, what matters is your employer. Do they offer you retirement? Do they give a match? When am I vested? Meaning, if I leave and I go to a different company because I'm moving or I find a better job, do I get to take, obviously you get to take your money, but do I get to take the money that you matched me? And when can I start contributing? So as you graduate and you get your degrees and you're going out there and you're actually interviewing for jobs, this is where I tell everybody, this is the last question of the day. When they've asked you all their questions and they're satisfied and they say, well, do you have any questions? You say, without a doubt, I want to know about the benefit package. And I want to know about retirement. And you ask detailed questions because that is just as important as the salary they're going to offer you.
Well, Sonia says she wants to retire by 60. I agree with that. I'm hoping.
Girl, you go.
I'm hoping I can get there by like 55 or something.
So I always say this. I'm 48, and I would like to retire when I'm 49, but I know that that's not possible. I do love my job, but I think I'm going to really enjoy retirement. So with that said, Lasagna, I challenge you to look, what is life going to look like when you're 60? I don't know how old you are now, and you don't have to answer, but what is it going to look like? Are you heading in that direction? Are you putting money away? Are you contributing to something? Because I have had young people who've had jobs at 15 and 16, and they started putting money into an IRA right then. And now they're out of college, and they've got a heck of a nest egg because they've started that habit. So I like the goal of 60 because, I'm gonna tattle on myself here. Back in the day, Social Security used to send you this lovely little pamphlet you opened up, and you got it around your birthday every year. Now I think it comes via email or something, but it shows your income ever since your first job. And I'm very proud that mine has always gone up and not dipped back down. But it says for full retirement and to get full benefits of Social Security, I have to work till I'm 72. There ain't no way. Ain't no way I'm working till I'm 72. Sorry. I'll sell coffee somewhere before I'm doing, I have a need to have my toes in the sand and look out at the water. So it doesn't mean you have to draw on it, because you can get your Social Security at 62, 65, but it grows by 8% a year if you don't touch it. And what they're telling me is I don't get my full amount, what I'm potentially owed, until I'm 72. And that's not going to happen. So I have to plan. Let's talk about some insurance. It's not always the fun topic. Some things are just not fun, but it's something you have to have in life, and you have to have it for a number of reasons. You have to protect everything you hold near and dear. And for each person, that is different. For me, it's ensuring that my spouse is taken care of very well in the event something happens to me, that they're not left with debt. They're not left with, not having enough funds. It's, for someone else, it might be their brand new car. They want to overinsure that car. They want to ensure they have gap insurance on it and all these other things because that car is everything to them. It's also my home. Or how important are your things to you? So maybe you don't own a home and you're renting. You're renting a room or a house or an apartment. The person who owns it has insurance to protect the building, but their insurance doesn't protect all of your items inside. That's what renter's insurance does, and it is the cheapest insurance on the market. My daughter had a one-bedroom apartment. I think she paid $6 a month to protect her items in the event somebody else made a mistake and the water flooded or the apartment building burned down. It's worth the peace of mind. That's what insurance does. It gives you peace of mind. So I highly suggest that. When it comes to auto, it can repair, replace, or assist with unforeseen happenings. So the moment you drive a brand new car off the lot, it loses value. In 17 years, I've seen one client who called me and said, I just bought a new car and I drove off the lot and I literally totaled it, like someone hit them. And it was literally 5 minutes after they signed the paperwork. There was already a difference in what they valued the car at and what they owed. There's insurance to protect you on that. It's called gap insurance. It can be bought through the dealer or it can be bought through your private insurer. A lot of people don't know that, but you can actually get it through your private insurer. Life insurance, that's the one really nobody likes to talk about, but it does protect your loved ones and it can replace some of your income. It's not intended for your spouse or your loved one or your significant other to sit on the couch and eat bonbons for the rest of their life. It's there to make up the big difference. There is short-term and long-term disability. This usually is purchased through your employer. Some employers offer it at a discounted rate. Some offer you they'll offer you one for free because that's their benefit to you and you can purchase the other. And that's real important because right now a lot of people have had to utilize short-term and long-term disability with the COVID because they've been out sick. They've had to take additional time off to care for loved ones. So this is something that can replace your income. Umbrella insurance. This is really important because it does exactly what it says. You get a great big golf umbrella and it protects you and anyone hiding under it in the rain. The umbrella insurance goes over all these policies and gives you additional coverage. A lot of people that have this are professionals that have to give advice, doctors, nurses, anyone in that kind of field. They need additional insurance to protect them and their family members in the event that something goes wrong. And then, of course, there's malpractice insurance, which anyone giving has the ability to, it's an errors and omission coverage. So it doesn't just protect physicians and other healthcare, but it also protects people like financial advisors. So there's all sorts of different types of insurance. You can be overinsured, you can be underinsured. It's a nice tightrope balancing act to know what you need. There is an actual formula that you need, and I'll pick on Candace for a moment. I know there's 4 people in her family. She has 2 beautiful sons. And so Candace has to have coverage for her and her spouse and her 2 children. So that's 4 times. But just in general, you're supposed to have 7 times. So 7 times your income. So we'll say Candace makes $10,000 a year. So it's $70,000. I know. Times are hard. So 4 times for all the people in the family, she's now up to 11, so that was 70, so that's now 110,000. But what if she has big purchases? She's got a house that's worth 150,000. She should have a policy that matches that. Maybe Candace is, she loves, her kids are in baseball and they travel a lot. Maybe she's got a big travel trailer out front and she's got to protect that. But you don't want to go too crazy. It's not meant to pay every bill. It's just meant to cover the big stuff.
Supplemental.
Supplemental. That's
Yeah.
right. Let's talk about all life major changes. Anybody want to take a guess at what a major change is?
I'll give you one: marriage.
That is a big one. It costs a lot of money too. So, yes, divorce. That's another big one. And some of these are life altering and some of them are just big events, right? So graduation, whether it be high school or college, maybe you're getting your 2-year, your 4-year, your doctorate. That's a big deal. The education isn't cheap. You're paying for something to give you additional resources to be a better, get a better job, have more life skills. Marriage, divorce, a birth of a child. I don't know about you, but children have a big price tag on the bottom of their foot. I have three.
They're the gift that keeps on giving.
They are the gift that keeps on giving. And unfortunately, death can have a price tag. But all life's major changes. These are the big ones when you really need your financial advisor. But all things in life have price tags. It doesn't matter if it's a fun thing, it's a great party, or if it's something really sad. And that's what that financial advisor, that banker, that relationship you have, they help navigate that. Even as a banker myself, I rely on my banker because when I'm going through something emergency, you're in your own head and I'm not wearing my banker hat. So I need to rely on my financial advisor. As we know, life happens. Murphy's Law is out there. So being prepared is absolutely key. How about budgeting? What do people think about budgeting? A lot of people think there's another word that starts with a B when it comes to budgeting. They think boring. Well, it can be boring, but it does a lot for you in your financial life. It tells you where your money is. It tells where it's going. It tells you how much you have. So it reveals waste. It provides you direction. It will educate you, again, on where your money is going and really how much you have left versus flying by the seat of your pants or living by cash in your pocket. It can help you create new habits and break old ones. And having a budget and knowing what to live by reduces your stress. There's too many things in the world to get stressed about. Don't let it be your budget. Don't let it be your money. Know the difference between a need and a want. This movie's been remade 3 or 4 times, so I know I'm not too old to say I want it now, Father, because everybody knows Veruca Salt. She wanted it now. Had to be the candy bar with the golden ticket. It had to be the golden goose. It had to be all those things because she wanted. And I said, we want instant gratification. We all want it now. We don't want to wait, but sometimes we need to wait. Know what breaks your budget. That's what breaks my budget right there. Coffee. I am a coffeeaholic. I love it. Love everything about it. I will admit I spent pre-COVID, actually even before that, before I got onto a budget, I was spending a lot of money on coffee. And when I started bringing it from home in a thermos, and the funny thing is I'm working from home and I still carry it in a thermos. It's just habits. Those are the habits you have. And it has put a lot of money back in my budget. Believe it or not, it's quite sickening the amount of money I spent. But you also have to know what your habit is. I'm not asking anybody to raise their hand or shout it out, but you know what you do. Are you a fast food junkie? Are you a gamer and you're buying things in an app? Or there's lots of things. Take one item, and I'm not saying, and budget, the reason why people think boring, it means I can't do anything. No, when you have that, when you know where your money goes and you have that additional income at the end because you're living by a budget, then you get to do those fun things. Or you budget those items in. You budget to get your nails done. You budget to have 2 coffees a week at Starbucks. It's those kind of things that you put in your budget. There is a 50-30-20 rule that 50% needs to go towards your bills and your lifestyle, the things that are important, like your rent or your mortgage, those kind of things. Then 30% goes into your wants and 20% goes into savings at all times, because savings is always priority. To create that, you really need to understand all your expenses. And that's not necessarily just a monthly expense. That could be something that's biannually. It could be something that's annually, quarterly. I say just list them all out. List the monthlies, and the bi-monthlies. Maybe you're going to just the biannualities and the annuals. So it's understand where they come from. Because, Candace, what's the easiest way to eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
That's right. So if you know you have a personal property tax of $1,700 that comes due every August, instead of looking around for $1,700, why not the whole year before that divide 1,700 by 12 and put that little tiny amount in savings each month? So when that bill comes due, you take it out of your savings, put it in your checking, and you pay your bill. And that's how you pay big items. That's how you track and budget everything. So you're not caught off guard. Manage your debt. I mean, reality is reality. Sometimes you have to sit down, and then when you see what you owe, it can be shocking. But there are ways to improve that. And that's called, how you pay off your debt is called Snowball, which is the smallest balance first, and Avalanche is the highest interest rate first. So there's two different methodologies there. I think the one that's most successful is the Snowball. And the reason why is because that instant gratification that we have, you're paying off more if you have a couple of doctor's bills, you know, and there's an example here. So you have a doctor's bill, which the balance is $30 and the payment is $30. Another doctor bill, the balance is $100 and the payment is $30. Then you have your credit card with a $2,500 balance and the minimum monthly amount is $75. Then you have your school loan at $100,000 and the monthly payment is $120. And this is no joke. This 100,000, I've seen people with way more than that. So it's about making smart decisions. And your first smart decision was going to Lord Fairfax Community College, because that is an effective and efficient way to go to school. I'm just telling you, save your money. So with the Snowball, on the first payment, you're going to pay this one off. You're going to pay all these in the first month. So your normal 30 to, you know, your normal minimum payments. But in the second month, you don't have a balance here. So you're going to take that 30 and you're going to put it on the next lowest balance. Okay, and so forth until where you're now, this is down to $10, so that $10, the rest of that went to this bill, and so forth. And that's why you get that instant gratification. But if you're really looking for paying down on things that are high interest, so then you're looking at the interest rate, which, you know, doctor's bills have 0 interest usually. Usually your visas are the most expensive, and then of course you got your school loans. So it's going to look a little different. Obviously, with the visas, they're still going to get paid off pretty quick because the doctor's bill, because they're low. But then you're really putting more money on that visa. And when you can go from a $75 minimum payment to $135, and all that is extra, that really takes a big hunk out of the balance, doesn't it, Candace?
Absolutely.
So with regards to the budget, don't stuff it in a drawer. Keep it open, keep it active. But you know what, with the budget, you have to do something that's good for you. Maybe you're really good at Word and you want to put in tables. I personally love Excel. I can put my formulas in there. I can move things around. So mine's in Excel. I have some people I've taught, and they really want it on paper. They put it in a notebook, and when a bill comes in, they put it in the book. And when it comes time to pay the bills, it's all right there. They mark everything down. It's a living, breathing document. Have a strong financial partner, but you already have that because Candace and I are right here on this call. Create a plan with that partner. Decide whether you need an investment counselor, a wealth advisor. It all depends on what life is going to look like, where your job's going to take you, your potential income. Seek out a CPA so you are reaping the benefits of proper tax advice. For some in their life, they might need a lawyer because of their type of career. Have tough conversations. You know, if you're still living with parents, have those conversations. Ask them about, you know, how they budget. Ask them how they do things. Have that conversation. Put the phones down one night and just have it over dinner. If you're already with a spouse or a significant other, have that conversation. Don't fly by the seat of your pants. Some of the other resources that we're going to have here, or these will be live links when you get it. This first link will take you directly to a portal at BB&T that's designated just for students. It talks about checking and savings and what's out there for you as a partner in the community. The QR code will do the same thing as the first link. You can scan it with your smartphone. This link here, and I'm hoping it will work. It did not work this morning. And I think it's just because I have so many windows open, but it actually takes you to additional learning. and it's called our Financial Foundations. We partner with a company called EverFi, and they have created this website with us to give the community members some information, high overview, and everything you consider financial. And I can see it's still spinning, so I don't have high hopes on that. Candace, do you want to pull it up on your internet?
I
And
can
I'll let,
certainly give it a
then
shot.
I'll let you share your screen.
Let me get it up here first.
Yep, sure thing. I do apologize. I'm not quite sure if I need to clear my cookies or what that is. Yep. Oh, my PowerPoint. It's not playing nice. Okay. All right, my PowerPoint completely died.
Gotta love
Is that right?
technology.
Love technology when it works. Thankfully, we were on the last page, but hopefully you can get that up. And if not, Candace, I can try to bring it up.
Okay.
But it is. When BB&T went from 2,000 employees at home to 30,000 employees at home, it kind of has hurt our VPN a little bit.
My computer's moving slow too, so it might not be you.
Okay. Let's see here. Thank you for bearing with us. I do apologize.
It's coming, Alita. It's spinning.
I got it. All right, back to sharing.
You got it?
Yep, I got it.
Okay.
Let me know when you can see that. Do you have that yet, Candace?
It's starting to share. Oh, now it's there. We got it.
Okay. So this is what our AtWork portal looks like. Yours will be a little bit different because it will actually be the student information here. But the most important thing is I want you to scroll to the bottom, because at the bottom of a house is the base, and that's the most important part. So here you're going to have three options. A financial checkup is someone that you can reach out to, and they're really going to do a deep dive. You can either do it over the phone or WebEx, or you can schedule one in person. This is something we do for every community member. You do not have to bank with us to do this, and we'll really talk about what your goals and dreams and what you want to accomplish and where you're going. If you already have started some retirement, or know that you're going to retire at 60, maybe you want to do a retirement view to see what that's going to look like and how much you need to put away to get to that golden number. But this is really where I want to go, is the accessing the financial foundations, which is additional learning. It is also a bilingual site. You can change it to from English to Spanish and back and forth. But we started out with just 6 slots that are broken in. As you can see, we've got, this one just is a high overview like what we did today, but you have the retirement. You're going to have, ones that are different, dedicated to different topics. But they're really short and sweet. There's really nothing to them. And then there's one where you can customize your own playlist, answer a few questions. I believe it's 4 or 5 questions, and it will create a playlist for you based on those answers, which is right here. During the pandemic, we did add a new one, which is financial wellness during uncertain times, and it really takes a deep dive into budgeting and gives you some tools and resources. It's a very good one. If you've never created a budget, this being the time of what we're going through is a great time to start. So I highly suggest those. So those are what we have for additional resources. And now it's kind of question and answer. Were there any thoughts or processes that I didn't touch on that someone wanted to know about? Because I'd be happy. We still have, a few minutes, I think. Or we can always set a private time. Any comments or statements or questions? I promise I don't have to turn midterms in on you. I don't have to grade. I will not send Chris you know how well you did in this class. Well,
I learned something new though.
uh-huh.
I like the part where you said that there was a rule like 50% for, what was it?
It's 50% for your bills of your income, 30% for your wants, and 20% always into savings. So it's a 50,
Yeah, I
30,
thought it was
20.
a good rule.
And if you start at a young age, savings doesn't hurt as bad when you get older. So if you're, oh, we got a question. When is the best time to get a credit card? Well, you have to be 18 by law. Got to be 18. And you can do it a number of different ways. I'm going to talk about one way, and Candace will talk about the other. You can get a co-borrower, whether that is a parent, guardian, older sibling, grandparent that was willing to co-borrow, co-sign for you, and you're utilizing their good credit, and you get a low amount. Or we have a secured card.
Yeah, so the secured card is ideal, for those who are establishing credit, rehabilitating credit, a number of reasons why you may need a secured card. And basically what that is if you have started a savings account and you have as little as $400 in that account, you can apply for a traditional credit card. And if returned an offer for a secured card, what we would do is take that money as collateral and secure it in a separate savings account. So you cannot access it, but you would utilize the card. Keep in mind, you don't want more than 30% of your available limit being utilized. So, that may depend on how much you want to secure the card with as well. A lot of clients are around the $500 to $1,000. I've seen some much higher, and the secured card limit can go up to $10,000. It's your money, so it's however much you have saved that you would put towards that. Typically about 6 months to a year of good payment history. You've used the card. It didn't just sit there at a zero balance because that's defeating the purpose. You definitely want to utilize it so we get that payment history, because that's what 35% of what they're looking at. Typically 6 months to a year, good payment history. You've used it. You haven't had it maxed out. We can then have you apply for a traditional card, and if you're approved for that, if you followed all of our recommendations, the bankers walked you through, your secured money goes right back to you. And it's really being held as collateral. So if for any reason you don't make the payments on your credit card,
If you fall down and bump your head, go crazy.
we can take that back and we can pay the card off. So it's really just you giving your opportunity to show yourself and how you're going to utilize credit.
Yep. But sooner the better. In all honesty, like I said, the minimum age is 18. So Jessica, yep, I would say at 18, because you really want to, maybe you're going to get a 2-year and then transfer to a 4-year. I'm not sure what your goal is, but when you get out of school, when you're in that working environment, you already want to have that good credit established, because you want to be able to go ahead and do the things and navigate the things that you want to do, i.e. rent a home, buy a home, get rid of that car that you've been beaten up all through high school and college, and now you want to get a nicer car. So it's about starting and establishing now. If you have school loans, they will start a credit file for you. They will help you build good credit. But when someone like Candace looks at a credit report when she's taking a loan application, she can tell that those payments are deferred. So you're not really building that character yet as far as making those monthly payments and paying on what's due. Did that answer it for you, Jessica?
Great.
I'll say.
She says yes.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, my chat was scrolled up a little bit. So does anyone else have any other questions? I promise this is like Vegas. What happens in this room stays in this room. And there's no such thing as a silly question. All right. Well, Chris, again, thank you for having us. Didn't know if you wanted to close us out and say a few words, but I'll give you the floor.
I just want to say thank you to both of you. I know you did the same session 2 days in a row, so I really appreciate your time. And then we will make the recordings available on our website at lfcc.edu/smartfinances. So that will be up there. And then I will be in touch with the two of you to get some other stuff on the books in the future.
Wonderful. Wonderful. We love that. So you hear that, ladies. We're going to be back. We're going to have more knowledge. Knowledge is power. All right. So you all have a good day. Stay safe. Wash your
Thank you
hands,
all.
socially distance, and wear that mask.
That's it. Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
It might stop one of these days.